twice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear, quick, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raping the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you conceive.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Want to welcome everybody to the show today. You know, guess what tomorrow is? The start of NBA season. We had an interesting weekend of football for college and professional or NFL. It's baseball was I don't know if you got to see Game 6 last night, but the Rangers came back and survived and beat the Astros to take it to a Game 7. And so all that's just exciting. And I'm just going to tell you, man, we had a bunch of things. Travis Kelce did his thing. Mahomes, they connected for their 50th touchdown pass as a duo, fourth all time. I need to find out what the record is for that. That's my next thing. I need to find out what the actual record is for those two. But that being said, I hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. We were trying to go today to do it at the at Georgia's Happy Hog because tomorrow we're going to be at Cutting Up Barbershop and Salon because every year we do our pre-Thunder show there at Cutting Up. So tomorrow we're going to be at Cutting Up instead of on Friday doing our Thunder show, kind of giving the picks on what they think the predictions are for the year from Chris, from Keith, and so we're going to do that just to kind of see what they picked because last year I was the only one that was on target last year. So this year we'll get everybody's picks and be able to talk about what their predictions for the Thunder, because remember 44.5 is the over-under. So we'll do all that tomorrow. And then tomorrow will also be our pre-Thunder show. It'll be dedicated to the Thunder, what we think is going to happen. Because the Thunder, remember, Wednesday night is the first Thunder game. So we're going to just pretty much talk about the Thunder and everything tomorrow. So anyway, it's going to be an exciting show. I'm looking forward to that. And that being said, in NFL scores yesterday, all weekend, but you know what? Yesterday we had here was our scores from yesterday. The Falcons and the Buccaneers went at it. The Falcons took care of business 16-13 over the Bucs, which I thought was pretty close. The Raiders and the Bears with the backup quarterback, and everybody's talking about, it's Justin Fields. I mean, this guy is from whatever university. I mean, stop it, guys. I mean, every week there's somebody throwing up some clickbait. This show is not about clickbait. We don't do clickbait here. What we do is we tell you the truth. We lay it down for you. We tell you what it is. We're not going to throw out all these crazy speculations just so somebody will talk about, did you hear what Matt Clark said? No, when you hear what Matt Clark said, it's going to be the truth and maybe against the grain, but it's not going to be something outrageous like this guy from wherever, drafted, whatever, is going to come in and take over for the Bears. Everybody can have one game, and then my thing is this. It's easy to be great when nobody expects you to see you coming. It's easy to be great when no one knows anything about you. It's easy to be great when there's no pressure on you. That's easy. The problem is once they get tape on you, once they know what your weaknesses are, can you overcome those? When they're sending somebody to headhunt you, when you are a marked man or woman, and you can still continue to dominate, that's when I give you respect. But you're going to get one game, you score great. I'm glad the Bears broke their home losing streak and all that, Chicago being my favorite city that I love to go to. So, but anyway, the Falcons and the Bucs, Desmond Ridder, he's just up and down. I just don't see what the deal is with that. I really don't. Baker had a pretty decent game overall for the Bucs. Browns and the Colts, 39-38. The Colts, the Browns, they've got running back, even though Chubb's gone down. They've got Cooper. They're loaded. I don't. You're just missing a quarterback, and I don't think Deshaun. I believe the embarrassment of what he did will overshadow anything that he overshadows anything he did before. And I think because of the way that people look at him, I don't think that has affected him mentally. But the question is, what do the Browns do? You're already locked into $230 million guaranteed, up to 245 or 248 guaranteed in his contract, and he's clearly not performing. Now, we want to give him the end of last year, 100%. He hadn't played in a year and a half. I get that. Come back this year, you've been hurt, but the Browns, their defense and what they have available to them, and have no quarterback. And I'm sorry, this guy's not the answer. And the thing is this, and I don't even know how to say this without coming off wrong, but I mean, the lack of quality backups in the NFL is really, really crazy, which is why they instituted what they did as far as not being able to touch the quarterback. But still, at that saying, where we have 36 or 38 quarterbacks that have started NFL games this year. So, I mean, it's just frustrating to me to watch these guys who are backup quarterbacks who are dual threat. Just because you're dual threat don't mean that you can handle offenses. You have to be able to do something else. You have to be able to stand in the pocket. You have to be able to make throws. Now, can you make and pick up yards with your legs? Yes. But at the end of the day, when the pressure comes down to it, you've got to pick up 3rd and 15, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 7. With the game on the line, you have to use your arm, not your legs. So it just kind of bugs me. But the Browns have got to make some sort of adjustment or some sort of need, because I don't know. I really don't know if Deshaun Watson is the answer. I really don't. I can't say that at this point if he is, but he is hurt. Now I'm gonna give him that. But when your quarterback comes back, and it was concussion protocol, but that wasn't it. The coach says, "Well, I kept him out because of my shoulder," and they still win the game. So you look at their record, where they are, and where they could be if he was anything remotely close to what he was before. They should be 6-0, 5-1, but instead they are where they are. The Giants 14-7 over the Commanders. Daniel Jones, we saw reports last week where they were thinking about trading Saquon Barkley. The hell? Are you crazy? But once again, they gave Daniel Jones all that money. I don't know if it was the owners or if it was the GM or if it's a coach. I just don't understand paying him that money. Saquon Barkley does get hurt, but he is far more valuable than Daniel Jones is. And on the other side of that, you got Tyron Taylor throwing the ball to who? To your two weapons. Your two weapons, your tight end and your running back. Those are the two weapons you got, and he is consistently hitting it. Now, that being said, I just don't understand what the fascination is with some of these quarterbacks. They can't play. And to me, you've got a bunch of young quarterbacks coming in. There's still some unknowns. There's one guy, to me, if he gets with the right team, I think no matter what, he's still going to do what he did, Caleb Williams. But you're going to have some weapons around him because he can use his legs. Now, everybody talks about what Joe Burrow did. Well, Joe Burrow had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I mean, really? Yeah, of course you're going to win when you got those two guys. So I don't want to hear about how great he was. Get him when he has no line, no deep. I mean, when I saw him when he had no Chase and no Higgins, look what he did. When you look at Mahomes, you look at what he did going through the playoffs. He was playing the championship game with guys who came off the practice squad, and they still got a W. That's what matters. What do you have when you have no weapons? The Giants have no weapons. Daniel Jones can't elevate anybody. The Commanders, Sam Howell, no weapons. They can't really. I mean, you got one, but that's it. I mean, they're struggling. But like Magic Johnson said, and we'll talk about that in NFL news, he said there's time to make a change. Yes, it is. You got to get rid of the coach. I'm not a fan of Riverboat Ron. I've never been a really fan of his. Unfortunately, Eric Bieniemy is going to be a casualty of that. I don't see them giving him the keys to the deal because at the same time, you went 1 for 8 from 1 for 10 on third down. I mean, really? Yeah, I can't really give it to you. Lions and the Ravens. The Ravens put on a show for the Lions, but DeMar Jackson is 14 and 15 and 1 against the NFC. Why is that? Because they're not used to seeing him. They don't understand how fast he is and what he can do, even though I think he's evolved more into a pocket passer who runs second. Like the other day, he made a play where he was breaking. I mean, he tried to get in the pocket, came out, was rolling to his right. And 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, he would have ran for the first down. Instead, he halted, slid back, and threw a touchdown strike. And I was like, wow, Lamar didn't run? That was my first thought. He didn't run. He actually stopped and passed the ball. So his maturation as a quarterback is going to be really scary for the league. But once again, he's got to win in the playoffs. He's only got one playoff win, and he's got to do more. He's got to do better. He's got to do better. And I think he will. The Lions, I'm not going to take. I mean, everybody gets beat down once. I'm not going to. I mean, they just weren't ready for his speed, and they did get beat. They got their butts kicked. So I'm not going to hold anything against them for now. We'll see what happens next week, how they bounce back. Then I will make my judgment after that week. Because remember when Miami got smashed by Buffalo, they came back and won. And then, of course, they got beat by Philadelphia last night, which we'll talk about that as well when we get down to it. Bills and Patriots, I'm concerned about the Bills. Even though Belichick has got his 300 win. Congratulations, Coach B, for your 300th win. I still look at it and I go, what did he have, 276 or something when Brady left, and it's taken him 3 years, 4 years to get 14 wins? That's, man, that's kind of scary figure when you look at that. He getting to 318, even though they've signed him again for another year. I just think they need to take the general manager a role away from him and hire a general manager and just let him coach. That's what I think the Patriots need to do. But the Bills do concern me. I'm sorry. Your offensive coordinator needs to go. It's kind of like Pittsburgh's offensive coordinator. If he's not getting it done, he's not getting it done. So, but on the other side of that, your defense did not make a stop, and your head coach fired Leslie Frazier, who was your defensive coordinator, for him to be the defensive coordinator. He let him go, and then yet you as the head coach, defensive coordinator, let them drive down the field for a game-winning touchdown against your defense, and you are the head coach. I think it's time for Sean McDermott to go as well. That's just me. Seahawks and the Cardinals. Geno had struggles yesterday, but the Cardinals are just so terrible that the Seahawks got the W in spite of Geno instead of Geno. But like I told Drew and Nathan and Geno's pizza's closed. That's just me. I think Geno is reverting back to the old Geno that he always has been. So that's just me. He had that 1 year last year, and I think that he's going back to who he was before. Steelers and Rams, that controversial fourth down. Officiating is officiating. It's a part of the game. They reviewed it. There was no way. It looked short to me, but, I'm not an official and I don't really know. But at the same time, congratulations to the Steelers. Who knows how they're 4-2, but that conference is tight. Now the Bengals have to step up to do what they need to do to get a W. The Chargers and the Chiefs, they're just rolling. I mean, these guys have got to come along. Mahomes is still a little off on his targets, except for Rashid Rice and for Travis. But you can see that Sky Moore and him still are a little off. That he's always been off with Valdez-Scantling for whatever reasons. And with him wearing that scarf that he had on yesterday, I'm like, yeah, why are y'all putting him on air wearing the scarf? It looks ridiculous. He thinks it's fashion for it. You look ridiculous. You look ridiculous with a scarf around your neck, around your head. I mean, you're like an old women do that. Old black women, old white women do that. Old grandmas. That's who wears scarf on top of their hats around their head. I mean, dude, Cam made it look like it looked like crap to him, and now it looks like crap on you. And I can promise you, these teams and the owners don't like that. You can try to they put up with some of the stuff, but when your production is not what it should be, you're gone. And me as an owner, I'm not going to have my players wearing scarves. I'm not doing it. Sorry. It's just me. But the Chiefs took care of business. Travis Kelce, big day. And when you looked at the numbers between what Taylor Swift is when she's at his games to when she's not, it's pretty scary. It's significant. It is pretty significant. So Packers, Broncos. The Broncos squeaked out a victory. Jordan Love. Sorry, Jordan, you're not. You're a backup quarterback. You're not a starting quarterback in the NFL. And unfortunately for you, your chance to get the 180 million, 250 million, 225 million. I'm sure you were looking at. That's not happening. You're more of a $100 million guy. You're not a $200 million guy. That's just the way it is. Dolphins and the Eagles. Tua against Jalen Hurts last night. The Eagles took care of business and just punched the Dolphins in the mouth. They've gotten physical with them, and the two losses that the Dolphins have are against winning teams. Against losing teams, they're over. Now the question is, they've got the Chiefs in 2 weeks that they've got to handle their business in Germany. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But the Eagles and the Bills both very physical on against the Dolphins and didn't allow Tyreek to get loose and do all the things that he needed to do. So kudos to the Eagles for taking care of business, 6-1. Even though I still don't think Jalen Hurts is playing his best, I still think they're trying to figure out who the hell they are. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the tush push, but it is what it is. It seems okay to me. I don't have any problem with it. The problem is if you don't like it, stop it, and eventually everybody will stop it. Right now, no one's has quite figured out a way to do it, but I think in time that will happen. Now tonight we have the Niners versus the Vikings. I'm losing in my fantasy, so Brock Purdy's got to come up with some big stuff. But my problem is I'm going against Christian McCaffrey, who's going to have a bunch of. So if Brock Purdy has a bunch of yards, Christian McCaffrey's going to have even more because he can score touchdowns and run for yards, and he's got catches. So, whereas my running back decided not to play and just absolutely murdered me yesterday, I just, that's what I get for having a Texas guy as a running back. But anyway, 7:15 tonight on ABC and ESPN. The Vikings are +7. Over under is 43 against the Niners. I think the Niners are going to punch them in the mouth and take care of business. That's what I think. But I need my 49ers to get some interceptions. I need them to get a bunch of points. I need them to get some scoring points. I need some pick sixes, and I need some fumbles. I need some points scored by the Niners defense in order to overcome Christian McCaffrey in my league tonight. So anyway, that's going to be a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing that and seeing what's going to happen with that game. So it's going to be good. Now, as far as NFL news is concerned, Commanders, one of the Commanders' owner, Magic Johnson, says that things have to change. And I talked about that a little earlier. What basically, to me, what that says is Magic Johnson saying that they're going to make changes in coaching. You don't have the talent. Your GM, to me, probably needs to go as well. You need to get somebody who can draft. You need to draft offensively. You've got your defensive tackle saying, I've been there for 7 years and I'm tired of it. I don't blame him. Your coach is not the guy. I mean, I thought he should have been gone a couple years ago, but once again, I'm not an NFL owner. I'm just a guy who talks on air, so on the internet. That's what I do. So my suggestion is my suggestion. My thoughts are my thoughts. But like I said, Magic Johnson is not used to losing. He's not going to lose. He's part owner of the Dodgers. They're winning. He's going to come here, and I believe Josh Harris as well, the owner of them, is going to completely change their mentality, the way that they look at things. So we shall see how that works. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni says don't ban it, because if everybody could do the brotherly shove or the tush push, they would. He's right. There's teams that try it, but they don't have the best center, or arguably the best center. I still think Jason Kelsey's the best center in the NFL. And then you've got a quarterback who can squat 600 pounds. So if you've got, or deadlift 600 pounds. So if you've got that, then you've got your tight end and you got wide receiver. Both of them are big and strong and they can push through. There's just no way you're going to stop them. Other teams have tried. The Chargers, I don't know why they tried. They don't. You got Justin Herbert, who's skinny. You got an offensive line who can't really move anybody. So I just don't. Everybody can't do it. But I don't really like the play. To me, I don't. I want it to be where it's 4th and 1. You have no idea what the hell's going to happen. But until somebody can stop it, or somebody continues to get hurt, or somebody gets hurt using it, the NFL, I don't think is going to do anything with it. And like Nick Sirianni said, it's nice to go in and when it's 1st and 9. Instead of 1st and 10. That's nice. But you still got to be able to pick up yardage, and you still got to put yourself in that situation. That's all I know in order to get that play done. Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson says after his 2 INT game yesterday against the Raiders that he should be paid. Those were his first picks since week 2 of 2021. Paid for what? Okay, you got an INT that won the game. Okay, why am I paying you again? I'm paying you to intercept the ball. And you think after your 2 INTs that you should be paid? Yeah, you're going to get paid, but you ain't going to get paid the same way that other guys are going to get paid. The top cornerbacks in the NFL, I'm not paying you that. I'm not paying you that. Ain't no way. You're clearly not one of the top cornerbacks if you've got 2, you've got 3, and you've got 2 interceptions since 2021. Those are your first picks since week 2 of 2021. I mean, think about that. This is 2023. So in 2 years, you finally got a pick. You went all of last year with no picks. You went 6 games for 5 games this year with no picks. Yeah, I'm not paying you, bro. Sorry, not paying you. I mean, I'm all about the players getting paid, but yeah, I'm not paying you, bro. Sorry, no way, Jose. Am I paying you? Not my boy Jose. I'm not talking about my boy Jose, but no way, guy. Am I paying you that kind of money? It's just not happening. Sorry, it's just I'm not gonna pay you, and I don't think that you deserve to be paid because of the simple fact that that's only your second. That was your first INT in almost 2 years. And you want me to pay you? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I just can't see it. Sorry. In Big 12 news, of course, TCU lost to Kansas State. Kansas State put it on them. BYU beat Texas Tech, and Drew Hinton, Drew Picks, and I talked about that the other day, that how Texas Tech was going to be tough for them to go to Utah and handle their business, especially a nighttime game. It's a tough place to play. And it's tough to deal. I played against Brigham Young, so I can tell you it's not easy to go win up there or to beat Brigham Young. I can promise you that. Now, basketball and football are 2 different things, clearly, but it's still tough to beat them. Houston and Texas. Texas, the game was a lot closer, 31-24. Texas and OU both struggled simply because I think they gave so much, even though they had a bye. I think it took so much out of them. That game, that red rivalry, took so much out of both of them. I think that they both struggle to try to get something done. That's just how I feel about what happened against Texas. But Houston played well. Hats off to Dana Holgerson and his staff for taking care of business. Dana, to me, is on the hot seat, but at the same time, he's got some players, but for whatever reason, they're just not performing. I don't know if it's just because it was Texas or they overlooked some of the players. They're so talented that they overlooked some of the teams they're playing against. And then they looked at Texas and guys who they played against in high school playing. They wanted to be competitive, and they were. Okie State, great win by the Cowboys, taking care of business. They're in Morgantown against West Virginia, 48-34. The Cowboys, I just don't know how Gundy does it. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan of his, but at the same time, he wins. He just does. And the Cowboys are very average, but here they are, third. What are they, third or fourth in the? We'll find out. I've already wrote it down, but you have to go see it. But I think they're third right now, behind OU and Texas in the Big 12. And with a makeshift deal, all the games, all the stuff that he was doing at the beginning of the season, I don't know why he just didn't go with Bowman he's clearly the best quarterback. Why he didn't start him from the very beginning and just grew on, I don't get it, but yet the Cowboys are sitting there with 1 loss in the Big 12. Baylor, Cincinnati. Baylor beat Cincinnati. Welcome to the league, Cincinnati. Welcome to the league, OU. UCF, and welcome to the league, BYU. It's not at Houston. Those teams are struggling right now to get wins, and Cincinnati, with their new coach, it's going to take them time to develop a whole new culture, and it just does. You bring in a coach that has players from before. That's why the transfer portal, you have to go out and use it. You have to go out and get players who fit your scheme and not necessarily the players who are currently there. So, but anyway, nice win for the Baylor Bears, taking care of the Bearcats, 32-29. UCF losing to OU by 2. Great stand by OU on the defensive side of that, stopping the 2-point conversion to tie the ball game. OU, they're ranked 6, but I can tell you what, their defense is very strong. And if they continue to get the players that they're looking at getting, they're going to be formidable when it comes to the SEC and what's going to happen there. So, it's more of a crapshoot. It really is. But at the same time, Venables is strengthening his side of the ball, and that's defense. That's what he does. Defensive lineman is what he does. And being the defensive line coach at Clemson, he had a bunch of stars. And what is he doing? He's going out and getting the best defensive tackles or defensive linemen in high school and in the portal if he can, and bring them to OU because the game is won in the trenches, and he knows that. And he knows if he can rush you with four, not having to do a lot of blitzes. I mean, that's a tough combination. So, speaking of that, when you look at the Big 12 standings, OU and Texas are on top. OU 4-0, Texas 3-1. Only lost coming to OU in the Red River rivalry a couple weeks ago. 7-0, 6-1 for Texas. OSU after a week after they struggled, they're 3-1 now in the conference, 5-2 overall. Kansas State 3-1, 5-2 overall as well. Their only loss coming to the hands of Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Iowa State 3-1, 4-3, a team that you really didn't see coming, but Iowa State, they got them a quarterback, and that's what you've got to win. You got to have a quarterback in this league to win. There's just no question. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to beat people in this league. You got to have a quarterback. It's just a must. If you don't, you're in trouble. Kansas still without their quarterback, 2-2, 5-2 overall, and they've got a big test with the Sooners coming to Lawrence Saturday. Big test for them, depending on which quarterback they're going to have, is going to depend on, I think, the spread and what OU is going to be able to do or not do against Kansas next weekend. BYU 1-2 in the conference. Congratulations on your first win there, BYU, in conference play. 4-2 overall. West Virginia 2-2. They're still a scary team, and like I said, Drew Henthorne had picked them. I was like, what are you talking about, West Virginia? And it looks like it's been a pretty good pick for him. 4-3 overall. LSU coming out getting a big win. They're in Morgantown this past weekend. Baylor 2-2, 3-4 overall. TCU 2-3, 4-4. Texas Tech, they're Texas Tech. I just don't even know I don't know how to comment on them. They're just so up and down. You never know what you're going to get against them. But I tell you what, if you don't show up to play there, especially if you're playing in Lubbock, they will kick your butt. 3-5 overall for Texas Tech. Houston 1-3, 3-4. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Dana Holgerson. Hopefully he can get it done there in Houston, but 1-3. They're struggling right now to get to the Big 12. But, of course, anytime you switch conferences, you don't know the team, you don't know the cities, you don't know the hotels, you don't know anything that's going on. So it's kind of tough to adjust. So it's going to take them a little bit to get adjusted to the Big 12, even though Dana Holgerson used to coach for Oklahoma State. Then they're at West Virginia, so he does know the Big 12, so he should. But once again, he's not the player. You can only design stuff. Players have to play. That's just how that works. UCF 0-4, 3-4. I think they'll be fine. They just got to kind of get used to what's happening here. And Gus Malzahn, I know he'll get those guys going. Cincinnati 0-4, 2-4. Both of them looking for their first Big 12 victories. Hasn't happened yet, but I know eventually that it will happen for both of those guys. I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. If you have any needs for computers, software to be written specifically for your offense, or network upgrades, or you need a new network supervisor, they can do all that. And the thing I love about them, they can remote in to fix whatever you need. Like my OBS was all screwed up. And Braden, he came in, I texted him, said, hey, man, I screwed up, I messed this up. And within 30 seconds to a minute, he goes, is that better? I'm like, yeah. That's how it's supposed to look, bro. Thank you. But anyway, appreciate those guys. And then also, if you have any needs for a website, they did my website. Website design, mine is basic, but if you need any intricate website design, they can do that for you. So contact my guy, Russell Williford, there over at Collaborative Logic. SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning needs, they are there. Now, Mark is not there today because he's playing in the Oklahoma Municipal Contractors Golf Tournament at Twin Hills today. So he's not there, but tomorrow he will be. But you can still contact him on his phone or leave him a message. So if you have any needs for those guys, they love to be behind the scenes. Oak Grove Trucking, if you have any needs for dirt or rocks to be moved, or if you know somebody who has a highway highway contracting company and they need help with dump trucks or anything like that, hey, call my boy at Oak Grove Trucking, Jose Fierro. Greg and Max Napier, appreciate their support, as always, supporting everything that I do in and out, and I appreciate them, of course, sponsoring Matt Clark Academy as well as MC Sports Network. YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC, and proud sponsor for us to go out and support women, minority, and black owned businesses in the OKC area, which, of course, tomorrow we'll be at Cutting Up. Then tomorrow night we'll be at Cats, and then this week we'll be back over at George's Happy Hog, back for them. So appreciate YNB and all their support. If you want to pre-qualify online, you can at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or you can go into their main location. They're at 401 Elm in downtown Yukon. YNB East, which is off the Parkway, Yukon Parkway and 66 or 39th Expressway as soon as you come into town. They're on the south side of the street there. YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is off Garth Brooks, just south of I-40, right there on the corner. You cannot miss it as soon as you exit off the east exit there. It's right there. YNB Peoples, 206201 Northwest 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur. Go in and see our guys over there. They'd be more than happy to see you. DT Construction, if you have any needs for roofing or construction of any kind, inside or out, painting, they also tear up your tile, just whatever. Any kind of demolition, they can do that. Plus, if you're looking at remodeling your house, they can come in and give you ideas and, of course, give you a bid on what it would take to do that, so you know. They also do roofing, of course, and, any sort of work inside or outside, like I said, of your house. Contact my guy, Drew Henthorn at DT Construction and Consulting, 405-209-4051. That's 405-209-4051. Or you can email Drew at dtconstruction2015@outlook.com. They're respectful, local, and loyal. And the good thing about Drew, answers his phone if you call. And, of course, our newest sponsor, Mark Pemberton of the Shelter Insurance. They're proudly serving Middale since 1982. You can go into their office. They're open Monday through Thursdays from 9 to 5, Fridays 9 to 1, and, of course, they are closed on Saturdays and Sundays. Located at 4609 Southeast 29th Street in Dale City, Oklahoma. You can contact them at 405-670-2424. That's the Mark Pemberton Shelter Insurance Agency, proudly serving Middale since 1982. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you coming on board, sponsoring the Unpopular Hour and After the Storm. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate y'all's support there at Shelter. Now, in college, we had some big time games this weekend. And the thing I like about this time of year, like I said, in October, what happens is you get a lot of great games. And you get some teams, and you get all the pretenders and the non-pretenders, and everybody gets to play, and you get to see who's who and who does what. Ohio State took care of Penn State at the Shoe, which we kind of expected. The Ohio State quarterback is a different guy now that Marcus Freeman, the coach of Notre Dame, went into a prevent defense, which I didn't understand. The guy's been struggling, and then you just let him sit back and pick you apart, which is what he did, and gave the guy confidence. So I think now Ohio State's got him a quarterback, and they're on a roll now, taking care of number 10, Penn State, 20-12. Oregon took care of business, took out all their frustrations after losing to Washington last week, 38-24 over Washington State. The game was not really as close as it looked to me. I think Oregon just hit him in the mouth and kept right on going. Missouri 34, South Carolina 12. Missouri looking good. And, it's so funny. That team is just like they were in the Big 12. They're doing good, and all of a sudden they disappear. Then they come back for a few years, and they do good, and all of a sudden they disappear. It's really weird. Now they're back in there doing good stage again. Missouri taking care of business. And poor Spencer Rattler went from, being the Heisman Trophy leading candidate to obscurity, not even looking to be on the draft board. So, or way, way down there. And all because he got the big head, and he wouldn't listen to Lincoln Riley. And he thought he was better than that. It's cockiness, and it just got the kid in trouble. Hope he gets a chance to bounce back, I want him to be a nice redemption story. Tennessee and Alabama. Alabama took care of business at home. They're slowly just getting there. After their loss to Texas, they are a different team right now. They figured out who they are, what quarterbacks they're going to use, and all of that. Nick Saban seems like he's got them rolling the way that he wants them to roll. Ole Miss took care of business at Auburn, 29-21. Once again, Lane Kiffin has got those guys at Ole Miss. And by the way, the Orchard, still Orchard there is beautiful, beautiful city. And plus, if you've never been to the Grove, it is the best tailgate in the world. Tailgate experience, let's call it that. Tailgate experience. It is fantastic. Love that place. Duke and Florida State, yeah, not so much Duke. You had to go on the road at Tallahassee, and the Florida State, they pounded Duke. They just did. They out athleted them. They out schemed them. They did everything they needed to do to prove why they're still the number 4 ranked team in the country. So USC and Utah, Caleb is a beast. That defense is what that defense is, and they just have to be rescued by him every week. It seems like, and he just, I saw something today about Mike Vick, and Mike Vick just looks at Caleb and is like, I look at him towards the future, and I agree with him. I mean, it's like he's the best player in college football without question. It's not even up for discussion. He is the best player. He just is, and to me, he doesn't need to stay another year, but I do think that he should be careful on where he goes. I agree, but at the same time, the Bears are going to have a new coach and a new coach, which means a new offensive coordinator. Chicago is a beautiful place to play. He's got a strong arm, so he can deal with the wind. And when you look at that, and of course, where else? I mean, you don't want to go to the Cardinals because that's just a horrible organization. But at the same time, being able to go play with Marvin Harrison Jr., you've got a great wide receiver to throw the ball to, kind of like what Joe Burrow did. He had Jamar Chase. So if you're a quarterback and you've got a guy who's going to always be open, you got to go with that. To me, I don't see there's any way that you can not do that. To me, I mean, you've got a guy who's always going to be open, who you know that you can trust, kind of like Patrick Mahomes does with Travis Kelce. And we're going to see what happens once Travis retires. What's going to happen? Whether any of those other tight ends are going to be smart enough. And I watched Noah Gray. He kind of does what Travis does a little bit, but just not quite there. But he's watched enough tape to see him. So here's the AP Top 25. Nothing's really changed. Texas has moved up a spot. Oregon is still at 8. OU and Texas are 6 and 7. And I do believe that the winner of the Big 12 championship game, which will be OU or Texas, I think that team will go into the final. Because I think you're going to have one team from the SEC, whether that's Georgia or whomever. One of those are going to go. I think you're going to have Michigan, Ohio State. One of those are going to go. That's your 2. You got to have one from the Pac-12, whether that's Washington, whether that's Oregon, whether that's whomever, Utah, whomever from the Pac-12. One of those will probably go. Probably either Washington or Oregon. I believe one of those 2 will go, and then either Oklahoma or Texas. Those are my 4 that I think will be in, to me, because the Pac-12 usually doesn't have a right to say anything, but this year I do believe they do. The Big 12, OU and Texas, if they continue to roll, the winner of that should be able to go. The winner of the SEC, well, not winner, but if Georgia goes through and they get beat in the SEC championship game to a one-loss Alabama, if that's who they end up playing, what do you do at that particular point? I think, one-loss Georgia or one-loss Alabama, they're probably going to put the winner of the SEC championship game into the Final Four. And then the winner of the Michigan-Ohio State game, I think will go in as well. So that's my Final Four would be probably, if I had to pick, I would say Georgia, Alabama's playing really well right now. So I'm not going to really ink Georgia in. I'm more going to pencil them in. And then Michigan, I still think has better talent overall than Ohio State does. So I would more like pin them in than pencil. Excuse me. And then Washington and Oregon, man, if they play again, I think Oregon will handle their business. Even though I like Michael Penix Jr. way more than I like Bo Nix. I mean, he's going to play in his by then it'll be his 260 something college game. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Excuse me, 60th college game. That's just ridiculous. I mean, but COVID is COVID and spared. It gave him a chance to get a chance to get that extra year to play. So, whatever it is, what it is, take advantage of the system if you can. So, that being said, that's kind of how I look at the breakdown. USC is falling all the way to 24th. UCLA is 23rd. James Madison is sneaking in there at 25th. I don't know if they're necessarily a 25th ranked team, but they do have a very good track record and they've done well. So, I guess I don't know if you can really knock them off because of the simple fact they have performed. I don't know if they could beat SC or UCLA or Tulane or Tennessee, Duke. I don't know if they could beat the people in front of them, but they may be able to give them a game. Maybe. I'm not real sure about that, but that is a possible thing. Now, you know what tomorrow is? I know what tomorrow is. I hope everybody else knows what tomorrow is. That's why this is one of my favorite months of the year, is because tomorrow is the start of the NBA season. Tomorrow, October 24th. I'm pumped up, cannot wait. The Thunder play Wednesday in their first game, and then again, but we'll talk about the Thunder in just a minute. But right now, we're going to do the NBA news. Sixers James Harden still remains away from the team. James, I think that Daryl Morey clearly did lie to you because of the way you're acting, I think. But at the same time, you're making yourself look bad. You wanted out of Houston, you got out of Houston to get to the Nets to play with KD and Kyrie. Then you didn't like that, and you wanted out of there to get to to get to Philly. Then you got to Philly, and you went out there to get back to Houston, and Houston didn't want you. And like I said, to me, if you're really as great as you didn't have to sign that. If you wanted to go to the Clippers, you didn't have to sign your deal. It was your player option. If you want to go to Clippers, you shouldn't have signed the paper. But you knew that, or your agent was smart enough to let you know that, hey, nobody's going to pay you $38 million or $35 million or whatever you got. Nobody's going to pay you that. It's not that those days are over with for you. So what does that mean exactly? That means that nobody's going to pay you. You better take that money and then get you traded. But the problem is, what they want for you, nobody's going to. I'm not giving up a first-round draft pick for you. And Terrence Mann, I'm not. The Clippers are like, yeah, we're not giving up Terrence Mann for him. Because what did they do? They gave up, for Chris Paul, what did they give up? They gave up SGA. So you're not going to give up another good piece to give up. Like, you're going to keep him there because he is a valuable piece to the Clippers as that second unit. You're not going to give him up. I wouldn't. No way, not for James Harden. And because then again, what happens if James Harden gets his feelings hurt and he gets a little pissed off and then he wants out again? Then what? You gave up a guy who's been there with you, who you've trained and raised and developed, and you're going to get rid of him. Now, this breaks my heart, this next story, or this next clip, as Steven Adams will undergo season-ending right knee surgery. That part right there really, that bothered me tons when I saw that. That kind of hurt me because I really, really like Steven Adams, and I'm sure most of the people here in Oklahoma City really like Steven Adams as well. And for him to go down and not be able to miss this entire season, I think that was heartbreaking for me, and I think it's heartbreaking for a lot of you Thunder fans because even though he is with the Memphis Grizzlies, still, we love Steven Adams when he was here, and anyway, so that's hard to hear, and I'm sorry that Steven Adams is going to miss this entire season. So the Grizzlies, and I'm going to have to rethink my predictions for this year because I looked at that and I'm going, man, it's going to be a long year for Memphis. So I got to rethink whether they're going to be in because if Ja's missing the first 25 games, the question is how many of those games they're going to be able to win. Now, they do have Marcus Smart, so they are going to be able to win some games simply because of him and Derrick Rose. But at the same time, not missing Steven Adams, you do have Jaren Jackson. But, and Desmond Bain. They still have a good team, but, missing those first 25 games, if they can go 500 in those first 25, it's going to make a difference, I think, with them. But Steven Adams giving them those extra shots when they needed a rebound. He gave an extra shot at another three. That's going to be invaluable. They're going to really, really miss that, which allows Jaren Jackson to roam around and block shots and do what he does. The Oklahoma City Thunder news, Jack White was released yesterday, which we kind of thought that was going to happen. I didn't see any reason why the Thunder would keep him around. I really didn't. I like Jack White, but I'm like, why is he on the team? I didn't really see it. And when you look down and you see what that did to the Thunder roster, because remember that every team has to be down to 18. You have 15 contract guys, and then three two-way guys. Okay, so the Thunder are now at 15 players with standard contracts, and then there are 3 players that they have with two-way, and we'll go over that in just a minute. And then, of course, with injuries, you've got J. Will, K. Rich, and Poku. Poku's still out with a sprained ankle. J. Will is going to miss some time because of his hamstring. Probably another. It takes every bit of 2 to 3 weeks to get a hamstring. It really, really does, especially for somebody like as big as he is, as dense as he is muscularly. It may even take a month. But anyway, so they're going to take their time with him, which they should, and make sure that he's a 100%, that there are no issues whatsoever with him to bring him back, because we're really going to need him, especially this year. Kendrick Williams, K. Rich, he has back spasms. You can see where it locked up on him. It was in the second or third preseason game. I don't remember which one, but you could see that he was running down the court. He started lifting up, and I've had back spasms in your lower back, and it's not fun. I mean, it's just there's no doing it. You're not doing anything. You're not walking. You're not running. You're not doing anything. It just tightens up and gives you spasms, and it's not a good feeling. So anyway, hopefully he can get better. But what that basically does is those 3 guys out who are contract guys allows you to play your other 3 guys, which are Lindy Waters, Keontae Johnson, and Olivier Sarr, which are your 3 guys that you have in your rotation for your two-ways. Now, the only one I'm playing out of that to me is Keontae. I'm not playing Lindy, and I'm not playing Sarr, because I don't need to play Sarr because I have Davis Bertans and Chet to both go with it. Now, if I need to play Sarr for 2 minutes here and there, fine, but he doesn't really give me a whole lot. Kent Lindy, if he's not coming down, like the commander says, Randy Wright, if he's not knocking down shots right away, he's not in there because he can't defend. So, to me, that ends that. But both of your power forwards are out when you're looking at this list. Trey Mann is going to play some. He's just a shell of himself, if you ask me. I think he probably needs a new location, some new scenery for him to get back to where he needs to be. He's way too herky jerky for whatever reason. I don't know what happened with the Thunder with him, but yeah, I like him, but yeah, he really needs to move on to me. That's just kind of my feeling on Trey, even though I really do like him. Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, and Isaiah Joe, that's fine. Cason Wallace needs to get a little bit more stronger, or not stronger, I guess. It's going to take him a while to figure out where he fits. That's a better way to put it. Figuring out where exactly he fits in the Thunder scheme of things. Amichik, he's going to have to learn. This is not the European League. He has to have a ball in his hands at all times. He dribbles too much. Dude, it's not the European League. This NBA thing's happen a lot faster. Quit dribbling so much. Make decisions quicker. Pass the ball, get rid of the ball, move without the ball, knock down the shots. I think he needs to be more of a shooter for us and a facilitator with the second group, but I think he may stifle the growth of Kaysen if he plays too much. That's just what I see. Small forwards, J-Dub is J-Dub. I think he's just going to continue to grow. Aaron Wiggins is just getting better if he can continue to knock down the threes. But like I said, with Aaron, my biggest thing with him is to be able to score at the rim. Jang he's still a project. Keontae has huge upside, so I like that. Chet, we'll see. He's scoring a lot of points, but I think if he can average, he's going to look like to me, he's going to average more closer to 14 than 12. 8 rebounds and 6 blocks, because I don't need him averaging 20 points and 6 rebounds. That's not going to help the Thunder. And I've said this many times. SGA needs to average about 30. You need to have J-Dub and Josh between those two averaging 40. However that is, 22 and 18, 21 and 19, 20 and 20. However it is, they need to average 40 between them. Then between Chet, Lou Dort, and Joe, and which is your next 3 of your 6, along with J. Will, with those guys, you need to have at least another 45 points with that group. So right there, that puts you at 110 points a game, right there, basically, okay? So that's kind of where they want to be. And then if you can get something out of the rest of the guys, that's fine. But that needs to be your leading group. And remember, the Thunder averaged 117 last year. So, but like I said, tomorrow we're going to do a full Thunder breakdown, especially that night after the storm. We're going to do a huge breakdown of exactly what the Thunder is doing, how they should look, what all the moves they should add, who they should play, and how they should do it. We're going to give a whole breakdown of that. And tomorrow we're going to give an overview of it. But on After the Storm tomorrow night, we're really going to break down and give you a good feel for what the Thunder are going to do and what they're not going to do. Because this is my thing: the Thunder, the beginning of their schedule is really important. Okay, that's the overall schedule, but the first here are the Thunder, the first games. Here they are right here. Here's our first 10. We have at the Bulls on Wednesday night. We have at the Cavs on Friday night. Then we are home against the Nuggets and the Pistons on back-to-back nights. Okay, and then we have the Pelicans. So in those first 5 games, you gotta feel like if we can go 4-1, 3-2 at worst after those first 5 games, I think the Thunder are sitting okay. Then the next 5, you've got Golden State at home, you've got the Hawks at home. So let's see, you got the Pelicans on Wednesday, you've got Golden State on Friday, you've got the Hawks on, let me see, Monday, and then the Cavs again on Wednesday. And then at the Kings, at the Suns. So top teams you've got to deal with. You've got 3 of the best teams in the West. You've got the Golden State Warriors, you got the Kings, and you got the Suns. So of those 3, you've got to get at least 1 W, if not 2. You got to at least get 1 W. So in those first 10 games, if you're 3-2 after the first 2, that's why I said it's important that you go 4-1. But if you're 3-2 after the first 5 games, then you got to sit back and look at, you got 3 of your toughest games coming up. So you've got to get 1 of those. So if you do that, then now what are you, 4-4? Okay, after that. So that's kind of where, to me, the way you've got to look at it. Then you got the Cavs and the Hawks, and you've got to win both of those, or at least one of those, at least not both. So you need to be 6-4. I would prefer, if the Thunder are 8-2, they're off and rolling. They're going to be more to where I think they can be if they can do that. So I don't know how that's going to work. I really don't. But I'm still excited about where we can be. But that's kind of where I look at that right now. Those first 10 games are going to be really important. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to get more in depth about it, especially tomorrow night on After the Storm. We're really going to break it down and what I think the Thunder need to do to accomplish wins in each one of those games and where I think they're going to be. But if you are 5-5, we're going to have, 45, 46 wins. If you're 8-2 after the first 10 games with 6 of them at home, because this is the thing, you have to win at home, which means what? The fans have to come out and support the Thunder. The place needs to be rocking. It needs to be crazy in there, which I know we have crazy Rabbit fans having the number one, the loudest team in the loudest arena in the NBA. So I'm not really worried about that so much. But everybody come out and support our team and get us going. So now, man, like I said last night, I said at the top of the show, I don't know if you got a chance to watch Major League Baseball last night, but it was a great game between the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros. Now, I've been down in Houston before, and those people are serious about their Stros, and they're about, but because they should be. I mean, when you look at what they've been able to do, how the hell are you not excited about the Stros and what they can accomplish there? Because they have won championships, and plus Minute Maid is just a beautiful place to watch, and it's downtown, and there's so many places, so many things to do. And I love it down. I really love it down there. And so, but anyway, I'm a huge fan of of the Stros. So, but anyway, here's a breakdown of it. But the game was great last night. The Rangers had to use the long ball, but the problem is, and I think it was someone says the 7th inning. 4-2 game. You've got the bases loaded, 1 out, and you get nothing. And then of course, the Rangers, bases loaded, grand slam. And I think if you hit the grand slam and you go up, what would that be, 6-4, I think the game would have been over. I think y'all been able to close the door. But instead, here you go. And I think, what if they said 3 out of the last 5 times or something, the team on the road has won Game 7. So we're going to see, and of course the Rangers are throwing Scherzer, their ace. We're going to see who the Stros are going to throw. But series is tied, Game 7 coming up. I will be watching that. I do watch baseball when it's at this level, at this particular time of year. I do watch it. And of course you got the Phillies leading the Diamondbacks 3-2. We're going to see if the Phillies can close them out. Because, like I said, I want to see the Phillies and the Stros. That's who I want to see. So that would be the best matchup for me from my side of the game. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know, but hey, baseball is that time of year, and if you can watch the game, I believe it's tonight they're playing each other. Hey, go and watch it, check it out. It's gonna be a great game. Cannot wait to see. And I'll probably be watching tonight. It's Monday Night Football. Like I said, don't know if I'm really gonna be watching much of the Niners and Vikings, but I mean you can if you want to, just kind of depending on what your schedule is and what you want to do. So that being said, in NHL, my guy High Stick Harry is not here today, which I don't know. I don't know why he didn't come on. I guess he's been taking care of his nephew. So, but in NFL scores, we only had NHL scores. We only had two games last night. The Flames lost to the Detroit Red Wings 6-2. Ben's Bruins took care of the Ducks, the unmighty Ducks now, not the mighty Ducks, but the unmighty Ducks, 3-1. So his Bruins are off to a good start. He did not think they're going to be able to do anything this year with the retirement of a lot of their mainstays. But you know, if you have a good if you have a good farm system, you can overcome a whole lot. So that being said, I'm excited about tomorrow's show. I'm excited about what we're going to be doing. But remember, if you can, I'd appreciate it if you can go to watch us on YouTube and search the Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark. Please subscribe, like, hit notification button, and then, like I said, After the Storm, which is our Thunder analysis. After the storm, search After the Storm dash OKC Thunder. It'll pop up. Please subscribe, like, hit notification button because you will be getting a good breakdown of what's actually going to happen with the Thunder. We're here to make you knowledgeable, not to hear you. Because I believe the more knowledgeable you are as a fan, the more of a fan you will be. Not if I'm telling you what you want to hear. I think you need to be knowledgeable because I know when you look at NFL teams and you look at these cities like Dallas and Houston, the bigger cities, their fans are very knowledgeable. You can't lie to them. You can't say a bunch of nonsense. You got to. They know when you're lying to them or not. They don't want to hear it. If their team is playing bad, they know their team is playing bad. Tell us why you think they're playing bad. They think they know why. Tell them why they're playing bad. Don't skate over it and give a bunch of excuses. Just let them know. Or you can go to our website at www.mcsportsnetwork.com and you can get the stuff there. So that being said, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy this. And I think we're going to get a little rain, which we do need some. But like I said, we do need it. But at the same time, I could do without some rain. So that being said, hey, everybody have a fantastic day.